Welcome back to my inner sanctum. I am your hostess, Countess Elizabeth, mistress of the macabre. Some discoveries made by people are a mystery even to this day. People stumble upon things that are out of the ordinary and are seemingly unexplained. There are discoveries that we try to explain with science. However, sometimes science does not completely solve the mystery. One such unexplainable discovery is that of the bodies of Skeleton Lake. So let us visit this graveyard as we trek through the mountains so we can explore a grotesque curiosity. High in the Indian Himalayas, a remote lake nestled in a snowy valley is strewn with hundreds of human skeletons. Ropekan Lake, otherwise known as Skeleton Lake, is located 5,029 meters or 16,500 feet above sea level at the bottom of a steep slope on Tirasol, one of India's highest mountains, in the state of Uttarakhand. This lake is known as Skeleton Lake because of the hundreds of ancient skeletons found at the edge of the lake. The skeletons were rediscovered in 1942 by Nandi Devi Game Reserve Ranger Hari Kisan Madwal. There are reports that these bones are from the late 9th century. At first, British authorities feared that the skeletons represented casualties of a hidden Japanese invasion force, but it was found that skeletons were far too old to be Japanese soldiers. The skeletons are visible in the clear water of the shallow lake during 1 month when the ice melts. Along with the skeletons, wooden artifacts, iron spearheads, leather slippers, and rings were also found. When a team from the National Geographic retrieved about 30 skeletons in 2003, flesh was still attached to some of them. To date, the skeletal remains of an estimated 600 to 800 people have been found there. In tourism promotions, the local government describes it as Mystery Lake. For more than half a century, anthropologists and scientists have studied the remains and puzzled over a host of questions. Who are these people? When did they die? How did they die? Where did they come from? Local legends as the king of Kanauj, Raja Jahazaval, and his wife, Rani Balampa, their servants, a dance troupe, and others went on a pilgrimage to Nandi Devi's shrine, and the group faced a storm with large hailstones, from which the entire party perished. Remnants belonging to more than 600 people have been found. The Anthropological Survey of India conducted a study of the skeletons during the 1950s. The study of the skeletons revealed head injuries, which according to some sources were caused by round objects. Those researchers concluded that the victims had been caught in a sudden hailstorm, just as described in the local legends and songs. Radiocarbon dating of the bones at Oxford University Radiocarbon Accelerator Unit determined the time of death to be 800 CE. More recently, radiocarbon dating, combined with genome analysis, found that the remains are from very different eras and belong to different distinct groups. A group of remains with South Asian ancestry was dated over a period of time around 800 CE, while the other skeletal remains of Mediterranean or Southeast Asian origin were dated around 1800 CE. Those findings counter the theory that the individuals died in a single catastrophic event. The radiocarbon dating further suggests that the older South Asian remains were deposited over an extended period of time, while the younger Mediterranean and Southeast Asian group of remains were deposited during a single event. One theory assumes that this could have been a cemetery where victims of an epidemic were buried. Earlier studies of the skeletons have found that most of the people who died were tall, more than average stature. Most of them were middle-aged adults, aged 35 to 40. There were no babies and no children. Some of them were elderly women. It upends any explanations that a single catastrophic event led to their deaths. E.O. Don Harney, lead author of the study and doctoral student at Harvard University. It is not clear what happened at Ropekan Lake, but we can now be certain that the deaths of these individuals cannot be explained by a single event. Some of them have ancestry that would have been more common in groups from the north of the Indian subcontinent, while others have ancestry that would have been more common in the southern groups. No arms, weapons, or trade goods were found at the site. The lake is not located on a trade route. Genetic studies have found no evidence of the presence of any ancient bacterial pathogen that could provide disease as an explanation for the cause of deaths, so that refutes the theory that it was a cemetery for those who died during an epidemic. A pilgrimage that passes by the lake might explain why people were traveling in that area. Studies reveal that credible amounts of the pilgrimage in the area do not appear until the late 19th century, but inscriptions in local temples date between the 8th and 10th centuries, suggesting potentially earlier origins. So scientists believe that some of the bodies found at the site happened because of a mass death during a pilgrimage event. But how did people who are genetically Mediterranean end up in this remote lake in India's highest mountains? It seems unlikely that people from Europe would be traveling all the way to Romkund to participate in a Hindu pilgrimage. It could be a genetically isolated population of people from distant eastern Mediterranean ancestry that had been living in the region for many generations. We are still searching for answers. Well, that was truly a grotesque tale. I think that there are a few different explanations to the results of the genetic tests showing different ethnicities in Skeleton Lake. I think it may have been used as a cemetery in one time period, and the hailstorm that killed those people on the pilgrimage happened later. What I can't wrap my mind around are the results of some Mediterranean people found in the site. I don't have any explanation for that. Well, whatever happened to these people and who they are, may their souls rest in peace. Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe, like, and share if you would like to keep exploring our grotesque curiosity. We'll meet again in the darkness of the night.